Okay, we are finally at our final Generation 4 episode idea, a little Generation 4 concept here, if you will. This was meant to take place in Season 9 of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. It was something that I wanted to see, something I expected to see. I had a whole list of them. I'll leave a link for the playlist for all of these other ideas, these other episode ideas up there in the top right. There is 7 of them, this being the 8th one here. So here is the 8th episode idea. Again, long time ago here, 2018, back when season 8 was over. But this was going to be a really great one because I love Discord, and this episode involves Discord and one of my other all-time favorite characters, Trixie. So the episode title is Discord of the Show. And the episode begins with Trixie performing a magic show for an audience, but they quickly get angry and boo at her because they want something new. Trixie wakes up from it, revealing that it was actually just a nightmare, and then boom, we begin the intro. Now, of course, you could have the audience like throw stuff at her, or she could like struggle to try and do something weird or something like that, right? And obviously it won't work, and then they get even more angry. She wakes up from this, revealing that it was a nightmare. We cut to the intro, though. That we cut to the intro, and finally, after that intro, it's the next day, and we have Trixie talking with Starlight on an unfinished stage. They're setting up this stage and stuff like that, and Trixie is talking to Starlight because Starlight's helping her and stuff like that because they're best friends. She mentions a big show tonight, and Starlight doesn't seem very excited about it at all. It worries Trixie. She keeps trying to hype up the show, but Starlight doesn't seem very enthused by it, no matter what Trixie says will happen in the show, which is her typical routine. Eventually, Starlight admits that this isn't that big of a show because it's just the usual stuff. Trixie is sad but doesn't say anything and just tells Starlight that she would meet her for it that night. Cut to that night. Obviously, like, this is implied that Starlight is going to be like a little assistant here or whatever like that. They've done that in a previous episode too. Actually, the episode where they became friends, actually, which is interesting. Anyway, we're going to cut to the night after all of that, and the show is ready. It just begins, and the show is performed, of course, with the slightly unenthused Trixie and all that kind of jazz. Only half the crowd cheers, which Trixie very much notices, and then we get to the backstage side of things. They move backstage and stuff, and Starlight mentions how the crowd loved it. And then Trixie explains that they didn't, and admits she's worried that her act is becoming stale. Starlight decides to help her come up with a new act to kind of cheer her up and kind of make her feel better about everything like that. But after an overnight brainstorm, which we could get in the form of some kind of montage or something like that, they come up with nothing until Starlight mentions how the only way to improve the show is to do something extremely random and unsuspecting. Which then reminds Trixie of Discord saying he would add a little chaos to her act if she ever needed it. This is in reference to Season 6, Episode 26, To Where and Back Again, Part 2, from Friendship is Magic and stuff like that.
If you ever need a little chaos in your act, let me know.
In that episode, Trixie and Discord, they have like a little combo and stuff like that. They kind of work together and stuff like that. It's a whole thing. I don't want to spoil that, I guess, but I guess it is way back in like 2016 or whatever, right? Like, that's super old. Discord offers to help out Trixie with her act if she ever needs it, if she ever wants to add a little bit of chaos to her illusions and stuff like that. And so this would kind of follow up on that slightly and say, hey, let's get Discord. He can add a little chaos to the magic, to the show, and maybe make it better. So that's what they come up with. That's what Trixie comes up with anyway. So they go to Fluttershy's and find Discord to tell him about the offer. Maybe he's there having tea or something like that. Maybe they go to someone else first and find out that's where he is or something. Or maybe they just know where he is because, of course, that's where he would be. And so Discord, he thinks about it for a second and he agrees. And so we see a quick training montage or some kind of preparation for Discord. Maybe not even that or something. We could probably skip that if we did the montage earlier because I don't want to put 2 montages in a single episode. That kind of doesn't really play too well. But if they didn't do a montage earlier, you could do a montage now, and if you did do one then, we don't need one here. So finally we cut to the show or something like that. Maybe we have some kind of side plot or something before then or something. And then during the show, Discord takes over the show and the crowd loves it. Trixie is upset at Discord for going off the script that they worked on or whatever like that, right? And basically accuses him of taking over the whole thing, so she fires him, very upset that he would do this to her. So that would probably be the end of the first act or something like that, right? And we would go to commercial or something like that, and then we come back or something, and we cut to the next day or something else like that, right? Trixie and Starlight are trying to find up a new idea to come up with to make the entire audience disappear, or some crazy thing like that. That's what they land on. They try to brainstorm more, and they decide, hey, what if we could make the entire audience disappear? And Trixie is just like, oh, I don't want to like lose my audience. That's what I'm already losing them. They're already disappearing, or whatever like that, right? And then she's like, no, you can perform a trick that makes the entire audience disappear, or something like that, right? And so they come up with this plan and stuff like that, and they're really not sure if it's going to work. And then later, shortly after this idea and stuff like that, they learn that Discord is putting on his own show at the same time. So she learns about that, and they're even more scared, and she's trying to come up with other things. Maybe she experiments with some other wacky trick or something like that. And so we cut to that next night with the audience and everything like that, and she's failing to get more than just a few audience members to watch her show. Meanwhile, of course, because she's not getting that many audience members and stuff like that, her show absolutely is bombing, and the small audience runs over to Discord's show, which is somewhere slightly in the distance, and maybe it's making some kind of loud noise or does something huge in the distance, like fireworks or something spectacular like that, right? And so the remaining audience members she does have just flee off to Discord's show or whatever like that, because they love it so much more. Trixie is ready to give up at this point, but Starlight suggests talking to Discord and trying to work out things that way or something. Trixie disagrees that this is a good idea and goes back to her wagon. So of course Starlight is like, well, I gotta help out Trixie here. So she actually confronts Discord herself, but their conversation doesn't help the situation, because Discord realizes, or at least have learned at this point, that he actually really loves putting on a show. So he doesn't really want to stop. So Starlight goes to Trixie and tries to encourage her, but finds out that Trixie is about to leave and find an obscure corner of Equestria to put on a show or live out the rest of her days selling her magical supplies or something. Starlight is obviously upset about this and tries to convince her that she's the greatest and most powerful show pony and stuff like that. And then Trixie finally gets an idea to have a show off against Discord to prove that she actually is the best. And so something in between, maybe, I don't know, and we cut to, of course, the next Discord show. So during Discord's next show, which could be that night or even that same time or something like that, right? It has all of Ponytown attending it. You might even have like the main six there or something like that, right? And kind of throw them in there or something. But the entire town of Ponyville is all there watching Discord's show or whatever like that. Trixie poofs on stage in the middle of one of Discord's acts or something like that and challenges him. And of course, he laughs it off at first and then realizes she's serious. But the audience starts demanding it. They start demanding this magical show-off or this duet or this little battle or whatever like that Trixie is challenging him to, right? And so he decides to do it. Trixie begins to perform her best magic tricks, but Discord points out how each one is done, and the crowd loves Discord for it. Discord tells her that she can only do tricks while he can use real magic. Trixie tells everyone that she still has one more trick, and that if it fails, she will step down and never perform magic shows ever again. She'll stop entirely. Everyone agrees to let her try, and she faces the audience. She tells them to remain very, very calm, and then teleports the entire audience away. Discord is surprised to see this entire town of Ponyville just suddenly vanished in front of him. Then, shortly after, the audience reappears, every single one of them wearing some form of wacky costume or something like that, right? Everyone looks confused at each other, and they're all silent. Maybe they murmur to each other and stuff like that, and then maybe one of the main six starts applauding or like cheering or something like that, and then overall the entire audience starts cheering and stuff like that. And after that, after they're all cheering, Discord is like, damn, he kind of got me there. Like, he can do it too, but he doesn't know how she did it, and he demands to know how she did it, how she made all of them disappear, and he demands to know the secret of how that happened. So she's not going to tell him how she did it or whatever like that. And the episode would ultimately end when Discord agrees to stay off stage. But Trixie, instead of having him go off stage forever, decides to give him another chance if he would not steal the show, which Discord accepts. And so from that point on, he would appear in her act as some wild card type situation, right? Where they kind of work together, kind of like how Starlight is an assistant in some episodes and stuff like that. Discord is now also one of her assistants that helps her out with her magic show. So yeah, there you go. That is Discord of the show. This is my favorite of my episode ideas. It's kind of wacky that it's all the way at the end of the episode ideas that I had here, but it was one of my favorite ones because it has all of my favorite characters in there. You got Trixie, you got Discord, you got Starlight Glimmer, you got them all in there, and they're like the main ones for this episode, right? Obviously the main six are in there, like Fluttershy's there. She might have more lines than the rest of the main six there because they go to her cottage where they're having tea party with Discord or whatever like that, but it's awesome. I would love to have seen this. This is the one episode out of all the episode ideas that I've shared on this channel so far that I absolutely wanted to see so badly, and I still want to see so badly. I want to see it so badly that I full on might write the entire script for it or something like that, but of course there's no real reason to do that since it's not going to go anywhere. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode idea. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of things like this. Maybe I can do something like this for Generation 5 where I come up with some episode ideas and try to share them here on the channel or something. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, or commenting on the video, doing any number of those wonderful things like that, because any number of those wonderful things like that, if you do any of them, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become one for yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.